Hi, I'm Pam Cullen from 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Augusta, Maine. And today I'd like to show you how I made this card using the Irresistible Blooms bundle. And so we're going to be using both stamps and dies from this bundle today to create our card. And we're using most of, several of the stamps. We're going to use both of these big floral stamps, both of these leaf stamps. And although there is a hello in this set, I decided to use a different font hello, and so I'm using the artistically inked stamp set just for the hello in that. And then for our sentiment piece, I pulled out the tailor-made tags, and we're going to be using the smallest of this set of tags to make our sentiment piece, and then we're just tucking that the piece that actually is the tag underneath, because it just didn't fit with this card. But we're going to be using those dies to create this sentiment piece. And the other fun thing about this card is that this piece, this layer piece here, is actually created from one of the new 2023 to 2025 in color treat bags. And so let me show you those. You get 25 of these bags, and they 5 of each of the new in colors, and so they're really great. We're going to use them as a card front here, but you could use these as treat bags as intended, or you could use them to put some cards in there and wrap with some ribbon. There's just a lot of different uses for these, and you get, they're $10, so it's a really good deal. And I love the pattern on them. It's different than the usual clear treat bags. So these are really nice, and I will put all of the information about all of these products below the video and on my website, so you'll be able to find them over there. And that's one of the things that I wanted to mention about this this particular bundle, is that Stampin' Up! This year came out with some online exclusive products, and this is one of those. So if you have an annual catalog and you're flipping through and you're like, oh, I want to find that bundle, well, you won't find this in the catalog because this is an exclusively online product. And again, I'll have the item numbers and all of that stuff so that you can find it if you wanted to purchase this at my online store. So let me show you the pieces that we're going to use to put this card together and the inks, and then we'll get started. So I have a piece of Pebbled Path in 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2, and then we have a piece of the Moody Mauve that's 5 1/4 by 4, and then I've taken a piece of the one of the treat bags in the Moody Mauve, and I'm actually using the other half of this one. You'll see that is the other piece of that. And so when I cut this piece, it was 5 by 3 3/4, and then I just lined it up in my trimmer and cut it diagonally on the trimmer and got these two pieces. So unfortunately for this card, I'm not going to have that little edge piece at the bottom, but I didn't want to waste this piece, so we're going to go ahead, and I think the card is still going to be pretty regardless of that. And if you wanted to, if you had some of those edging dies, when you used your second piece of this, you could just take one of those and create some other kind of a design on the bottom of your second piece, and that way you can use all of that one piece and not have anything to waste. So that's going to just line up on that side of our card. And then we have our piece of 5 1/4 by 4 that is going to be for our inside sentiment. And actually on this one I didn't do a sentiment, but I did stamp some of those floral images on the inside, just to kind of tie the outside to the inside and give that a little bit of color on the inside of our card. So that's those are the pieces that we're going to use. And then let me show you our inks. So we're gonna, on this card, I just stamped these in, this is Flirty Flamingo, Petal Pink, and the Moody Mauve. And I like this, and it's really pretty, but I wanted to give those flowers a little bit more depth and dimension. So on this card, I'm going to use my ink pads. I'm going to stamp these images, but before I'm going to ink the images, but before I stamp them, we're going to use some sponge daubers to add a different color to give these a little bit more color and depth. So some of the colors we're going to be using Moody Mauve and Bubble Bath and Flirty Flamingo and Petal Pink. And then the last flower that I'm going to change these colors up a little bit. And the last flower we do is just going to be Flirty Flamingo stamped off. So it will give us a lighter flower for that. And then the Petal Path is for our Hello Sentiment. And then we're using Old Olive to stamp our green leaves. So let's go ahead and take our scrap piece of paper here and get our stamping done. And hopefully I'll remember when I have these out to stamp the inside well. So let's get our other white piece, because I usually forget that, put everything away and have to go back. So we'll put that on top. So hopefully I'll remember that. So we're going to start out with that big floral piece, that big floral flower right there. And so what I'm going to do, we're going to start with our lightest color first. And so I'm going to go ahead and ink this up in the Bubble Bath. And then I'm going to take a sponge dauber and I'm going to take the Moody Mauve and I'm just going to tap this around this stamp to give a different color to that. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp this and see what it looks like. Oh, see what I mean? You get the light and the dark, and it just gives a little. I think it adds a lot to that flower. So we're going to So that's our first featured flower, and then we're going to go ahead and stamp these. So for the next one, put those aside for a minute. We're going to do Petal Pink and Flirty Flamingo, and we're going to do that. We're going to use the smaller floral image. And again, we're going to do our lightest color first. And then we're going to take that Flirty Flamingo and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to tap some of that color onto the stamp. And then stamp it. See, so you're getting that light and that dark. And it just, I feel like that gives a nice blend. Gives it a nice little feature to that. So now we're going to clean that stamp. And the last flower that we're going to do, I'm going to bring in just something to, whoops, sorry about that. I'm going to bring in a little piece of scrap paper and we're going to do that Flirty Flamingo and we're going to stamp off one time and then stamp that here. And that's going to give us our last flower. So then we're going to go ahead and stamp our leaves. Get rid of this now. No, let's clean this off. Told you I was going to forget that. And we're going to clean this off and we're going to stamp. What I'm going to do is to make sure, because I've been using so many colors on the stamp pad, that I'm going to take my scrap paper and stamp off until I have cleaned it, but that gets most of the color off. And then we're going to just bring in this, our inside piece, and we're going to bring the Moody Mauve back in. And what I did with this is I stamped full strength on this first one, second, and third, just so you get nice color in all of your corners. So that's, I think that's, yep, that's all of our flowers. So we can close up all of these ink pads. And then we can stamp our leaves and our sentiment. And so we'll bring in our, set this aside. So we're going to bring in our Old Olive and we're going to stamp two of this 2-petal leaf. and one of our 3-petal leaf. And then we're going to stamp our hello in our pebbled path. I want to keep calling it petal path, and that's not right. So, okay, so there's our sentiment. All right, so now I have already, to save us some time, I have already die cut all of these, but I want to show you what we would do when we ran these through. So we would take each of these dies and we would line them up, line each of these flowers up. Okay, here's some, there we go. And we would run this through the stamp and emboss machine, the cut and emboss machine, I'm sorry, and we would get all of these pieces done. So like I said, for the sake of this video and for time, I have already done that. So we'll bring all of these pieces in. We have all of our pieces here. I did want to show you just a little bit how I took that bag down to the size that we did. So I took one of the bags and I cut down each one of these sides, and then I cut it to size, the 5 by 3 3/4. And again, let me just grab my trimmer here. And then once I had it cut to size, I put the piece in and I lined these corners up. So you're going to line your top corner and your bottom corner in that track, and then you would just go ahead and cut it, and that would give you your 2 pieces. And then you will have left over, you'll have this back piece, and there is a seam where this got put together. There's a couple of seams here, but you still have these two nice pieces here that you could use as another border piece on some other kind of a card. So you really could, if this is the way you're going to use one of these bags, you could use the whole bag on several cards doing it that way. So I'm just going to set my trimmer out of the way, and I think we can go ahead and start assembling this card. So these pieces are just going to go ahead and get glued together. And then when we get down to the flowers, we're going to set all of those up on dimensionals and give it some nice lift on the front of this card. So while I'm gluing, I wanted to tell you about a couple things. We talked about this set being an online exclusive, and a new one, the 6th of July, just came out. Another one just came out, and this one's a Christmas online exclusive, and it's, let me get my notes so I can tell you the right name. I get the names wrong all the time. It's Horse and Sleigh. It's the Horse and Sleigh suite, and it's a really nice set for Christmas. And I know you're saying to me, it's only July and I don't want to think about Christmas, but it is, you know, if you're one of those folks that starts shopping and thinking about the holidays this time of year, this is a great time to order that and get your card, get a head start on your cards. So again, that will all be in my, in my store and below this video on the blog. So now I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to put dimensionals on all. Whoops, see, I've reused paper here, so no one's going to see that. And I use, if you've listened to any of my other videos, you know I use like every scrap of paper. So you'll see that a lot of my videos that there's probably stamping on, and plus sometimes I just get it wrong. So, and I have to flip the page over and do another one. So we're just gonna stick all of these up on dimensionals, and then we can tuck everything underneath. That's the great part about dimensionals, is then it gives you some space underneath to do some tucking when you have a lot of layers like this. So what else is happening this month? The bonus days. So for every $50 you spend, you earn $5 in bonus credits that you can redeem in August. And it's a great time because the clearance rack, it has been refreshed. So there's some great new items on clearance. And the online exclusives, there's new kits. So there are a whole bunch of new items and opportunities to shop and get a bonus at the same time. So if you head on over to my online store, you'll see all of those items listed there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to answer any of your questions. So I'm going to put that big focal flower there, and then I think I'm going to tuck this one under here. Then we'll do this one here. And then we'll add our greenery. See what I mean? This is a really pretty card. Oh, and I have one of my card classes coming up this Friday, and this is one of the cards that we're going to be doing in my class. So if you're in my area and you watch this video and you like my card, like this card and want to come join us, I'd love to have you join me. And you can go over to 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates, send me a message and let me know, sign up. I'd like to, if you could let me know by Wednesday of this week, that would be really great. I see I stamped this up. If you're watching, did you notice I stamped this upside down? It should go this way so we could tuck it that way. But you know what? We're going to improvise and we're going to put our hello. We're going to try to make this work on this side. Doesn't look as good, but we are going to, for the video's sake, we're going to make it work. No, I think that looks okay. I love those flowers. I love the difference in the flowers. See how there's more depth and just dimension. It makes it pop a little bit more. Now we just need to put our inside piece in there, and this card is going to be done. So I hope you like this set. I love it. I love these florals. They're big and bold, and this would be a great stamp set if you want to make your own designer series paper. This would be a great set to do that because there's big, bold blossoms and really big leaves, and so I love this set, and it just gives you a lot of possibilities. I got a little ink on there, so I got an adhesive eraser, and I'm just going to use that and take that piece right off of there. And so there we go. There's our there's our card. And I not so happy with my sentiment being, I think we made it work. But I do love those flowers. I like the colors of the flowers a little bit more on this card, and I love the depth of that by sponging some different colored inks on there. So let me know if which of the cards you like better, and if you have any questions, please message me. And if you don't have a catalog, I'd love to send you one. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And if you are watching this video and you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you could subscribe, that would be great, and hit the like button. And also there's a little bell below that will give you notifications every time I post another video. So thank you so much for stopping by today, and I will be back with another video soon. So take care.